it does feel like there is an opportunity here for Astralis to go ahead and get their biggest win with this roster yet. A spot on the Lanxess Arena if Astralis can take this map. Cloud9 starting on the T side, looking to recover.
All out to B early on the Cloud9 side. Zipex is here with an HE grenade, and Config also has one of his own. If these are timed nicely, this could be big damage.
Goes a little too deep, unfortunately. Now they hop out the window. Config good for the first pick. Axile is down. There's significant forces here for Astralis to try and defend this B side, and the rotations are coming over to try and bolster it further. blameF holding strong, gets a double with the last bullet, connects on towards interz. Shiro is out in the site, but his teammates coming out of the apartments now. Nafany finally arrives, but there's so much that needs to be done here for Cloud9. They'd love to get rid of blameF, but it's not going to be that easy. He has the support network of Farlig and Glaive still standing strong, and Nafany is pinned behind the van. They chase him down, they take him out, and Astralis will have the first round of Mirage.
Solid stack for Astralis. They had 3 players towards that B site. Cloud9 can't really get out onto the site early and get the trade kills they would have needed to comfortably get that bomb down. See Config just stopping them from jumping out the window. That means they're all on similar angles here. blameF can start to line them up. And Farlig also arriving to the party a little late, but fashionably late, as he gets a couple of kills at the end of it. Safe for Cloud9 in this one. And as you were saying, the one thing that I think will be really nice for Astralis is the fact that it seems like it was much more of a team effort for them on that first map. Some of the past Mirage games they've played, I think their site anchors have had some problems. Pointing out Zipex, who plays over on B, and then Glaive will oftentimes be towards A. Those are 2 players whose form I don't think was great recently, but it seems like both of them have upped their games. Astralis are indeed making easy work of this. There's a nice kill for Hobbit. Try and get this gun into his hands. Looks like he will be allowed to do so.
At least he has the gun, but actually doing much with it, it's going to be a different story. Bomb up towards top middle. Astralis locking that in, and as we wait, Config is starting to wrap around the backside with the MP9. He will catch the timing onto Hobbit, brings him down, makes some money, and gets the second round in a row here for Astralis. Cloud9 having out enough money in their bank accounts to purchase into the rifles. We're not going to see that all out for Shiro anytime soon, but the AKs will certainly be there. This is Config just having a bit more freedom. Now, I did mention, just as we were breaking down Inferno, that, yeah, it's a bit of a tighter, more structured map, and Config can sometimes be a little restrained in that respect. But on Mirage, if he's feeling it, if he's confident, we're going to see him have a lot more space to play with here.
Early utility towards mid. Cloud9 will start to creep in through underpass and try to see if they can split this position. There are a couple of CTs hanging around, including that AWP of Farlig. blameF, who will take the first fight. The top connector smoke favors him. Farlig just holding top mid. No utility against the AWP. Maybe they weren't ready for the snipers so soon.
Oh, Shiro getting one. blameF able to come through and trade right back onto Axel, keeping Astralis at the heavy advantage. Config has gone on a little bit of a push alongside of his teammate now coming in behind him with Glaive. They pushed all the way through T-spawn, and if they push further, they will get close to that bomb that is now being picked up. interz has collected it and gone back into the apartments just at the right time. So they've dodged the vision of Astralis, but all the information is being picked up. Config could get in behind interz quickly enough, but it's Zipex that is most likely going to have to fight him here. interz doesn't check him. Easy positioning there for Zipex, and it's now Shiro with 40 seconds. He's very far away from the bomb, and he's now caught in the fight from top mid. Config's flank will get him the kill. 3-0 here from Astralis. If they play the CT side like this, it's going to be scary for Cloud9.
That is a little concerning to me, this round from Cloud9, because this is more reminiscent of the Cloud9 that don't have the protocols in place, that don't have the solid utility usage. It was a big talking point going into Dallas that some of their flash assist stats were not very good, their utility wasn't that effective. It felt like that changed at Dallas. It felt like their utility was much better, but in that round, just no utility really to be used on mid. They were never going to break that setup like that. blameF just holding his angle, easy kills for him. Also easy pickings for the AWP. Astralis weren't actually able to save that sniper. So just rifles right now. But against the pistols, shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Well, config is certainly not going to have a
Was
problem.
that a wallbang to be apartments?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice start there, config. Glaive holding from top connector brings down Nafany. The rest of the kills are easy pickings here for Astralis. Team that are still leaning heavy towards the A1S. Seen a couple of teams now elect to the A4 over the recent changes. Astralis loving the A1S still. Here's the AWP out for Shiro.
Yeah, that could be an important piece of the puzzle for Cloud9 to be able to compete for that early map control towards mid. There's the shot from config, perfectly timed as Axile tried to fall back.
I hardly ever see that happen, and we're seeing it more and more nowadays. Getting picks from that boost, but from that wallbang rather. A little bit quicker here from Cloud9 out top mid.
Window smoke and connector molly deployed, but not much of a follow-up for Cloud9. Looks like a fairly similar start to their first gun round, in all honesty. Cloud9 not going all in on the top mid control early.
The CT side are taking so much control here. Look at this. Glaive is pushed through Palace. He's got a lot of ground here already. They're inside a connector, and now config is starting to take apartments. There's so much control being taken. Okay, maybe not towards middle for Astralis, but they're getting so much info and so much control on the extremities of the map.
Still need to see some solid utility if Cloud9 want to move up through mid, because Farlig has that AWP over towards connector.
How far does Glaive want to go with this push as well through Palace? Does he just start wrapping T-spawn? Because he's about to get so much info from this, and you can start to send those players back over to B before this attack comes in.
And Farlig will continue to just make sure that the B split can't be coming through without them being spotted, and he's even got an early frag.
Lovely shot there from Farley. Now it is going to be pressure on the B side. They're trying to get back here in time. Config goes down to the bench without a single kill, so that is a bit of a weakness here in the defense of Astralis. But luckily blameF has got here in time. Farley's AWP also looking towards this way. And remember, the flank from Glaive is still coming through. blameF just needs to delay, and he's doing everything and more. blameF gets a double. Interz and Axel both go down, and it's just Shiro left. A nice shot on blameF, but 10 seconds, a lot more needed here for Shiro. And finally, that patient flank from Glaive will result in a kill, and 5 rounds for Astralis.
Cloud9 seemed pretty happy to take a slow round where they didn't really contest for massive map control early. They didn't really bait out the CT utility. That first shot from Farlig certainly helped. And then there was also some pretty solid counter utility from Astralis. They still had nades left in the late round because Cloud9 didn't do too much prior to this push. So there was an incendiary into the apartments that slowed the split onto the site.
Doesn't this tell you everything though? A timeout already being taken for Cloud9. 5 rounds lost in a row. A couple of gun rounds being shown. One with an AWP. Nothing being found. Axel yet to frag. Nafany yet to get a kill. Another slow start here for Cloud9, and we've seen what a slow start meant on Inferno. It's too far gone at that point.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a faster, more set play style of round here. I don't know if they really have the utility to properly go for one of those rounds, though. You'd probably want a few more flashes if you were going for one of those explosive site takes from the get-go. So it actually looks like it will be more of a default spread from Cloud9. And Nafany trying to make one of those aggressive plays. Also got config on the AWP in connector, who just decides to back away. Looking like an A split right now. But again, that utility is pretty lackluster, and Hobbit is also in Palace with his smoke. So it's going to be very difficult for him to use that effectively.
Farley sends the AWP over, but this is what Cloud9 can do sometimes. Finally, a bit of magic coming in from the individuals. Tech9 to the first kill, Deagle to the second, and a rifle into the hands of Axel. Cloud9 need to convert on this opportunity. They're trying to get into the A site. Config's got the AWP over here. He goes for the wall bang to try and deny the plant. It's not too far off, but the shots will not penetrate through on towards Shiro. And finally that one will, but it's not enough damage again to bring him down. It will soften him to 9 HP, but with Cloud9 putting the bomb down and having such solid post plants, Astralis decide it isn't worth it. It isn't worth going for this. But Nafany could make it a little more expensive here. He could bring another gun down. Zipex didn't see him. Nafany didn't see Zipex. It's just a perfect timing for Zip to get on by. Takes out Nafany. Looks to stay alive. 2 rifles at least will carry over here for Astralis, but that's an AWP into the hands of Cloud9 and around. I'm sure they didn't expect to come through.
Yeah, I feel like Farlig could maybe do a bit more there with that AWP in towards CT. There wasn't that much utility used against him. That one flash was effective. Interz did land an incredible shot with the Deeg. Definitely give him credit for that, but it was just a little too quick. The players on the A side of the map go down. Double AWP setup is going to continue on the Astralis side. Config will be taking that AWP over towards mid early. Decides to jump into ladder room.
Well, Zipex pushes through Palace. Glaive again alongside of him, but this time interz is ready for it. Will he anticipate Glaive to be here too? They are being tentative in their approach, and Shiro has seen Glaive, takes him out with the AWP. And now is there an acceleration down into this A site from Palace? If they do go forward, they would have to deal with blameF, and he is good enough to take down interz. Shiro now fixated upon him, but Config seeing just enough of Shiro extending around the corner to get the kill onto the Palace AWPer. Now it's just Axel left in a 1 versus 3. His teammates have all crumbled towards the A-sided attack. Axel at least gets an opportunity to bring down Farlig. And he will open up a chance for himself into this clutch. 2 players to bring down 2 heavy hitters. Config's AWP spotted crossing to the Underwood. Axel's going to try and molly him into the open. Config anticipates that and peeks with the AWP as the nade is in hand. 6 rounds for Astralis, an immediate response to the round picked up for Cloud9.
A brilliant start here from some of the Astralis players. This was the Palace aggression, which looked like it was going pretty back and forth initially, but blameF has been so good in that connector position. I don't think Cloud9 have been able to counter him effectively enough so far with their utility. And credit to Config, landing shots with that AWP, ends up picking up a triple kill. Looks like Cloud9 are going to start grouping up early into this one, over towards that A side of the map. The aggression from Astralis means they'll be able to spot this pretty early on.
Oh, they go forward. Farley rips apart Hobbit. It's a good opening. Farlig's impact has been somewhat limited. Gets an opening like that, that's going to put Astralis into a very comfortable spot. Cloud9 immediately starting to drop back, taking the time, and will be forced to slow this one down.
Shiro happy to use his AWP just to peek dry into mid. No fights given to him, but he hears that molly thrown over from B short. I think he'll get given the opportunity for a pick though. Yet again, this connector smoke that blameF can peek above. They cannot deal with blameF in this position right now.
No, he's having an absolute monstrous performance right now. It's just frustrating here for Cloud9 to deal with all this Astralis utility. It's coming in at the right times. It's disrupting Cloud9 entirely, and they're just getting picked apart. Finally, some damage onto blameF, but it's not enough to bring down the Juggernaut. He's going to soak up that damage and maintain his position. 19 seconds left. Cloud9. Nafany's throwing the bomb down. He can't even get anywhere near the site. Finally, interz comes out from Palace, but it's to no avail, really. Shiro's nowhere near the site. Can't get it done. Cloud9 are just waiting around and getting picked apart, torn to shreds, and Config is chasing after Shiro with the AWP. He isn't going to go around the corner. He wouldn't be bold enough for that. But 7 rounds for Astralis picked up already, and this isn't even competitive.
Yeah, these rounds are not even close right now. I'm so surprised blameF just keeps getting away with that. I think Cloud9 need to adapt. If you hear that top connector smoke, and you want to try and face towards that angle, maybe just have a flash from top mid ready to try and get him away.
Zip hasn't been tested at all in this game so far on B, right? He just feels like he's had an easy time of things on the B side. Nothing's come his way. He's 2 and 3. Hasn't seen much going on. It's this mid fight. They keep banging their head off the wall in the mid fight.
Oh,
Nade's going to go searching for the kill, and a homing missile connects onto its target.
This play could be effective. Glaive almost caught out, but he turns it round, hits the headshot. This was a full force buy for Cloud9. They are going to start to get out through Palace, but another shot lands from Config. He continues to do good work with this sniper.
Yeah, he's having a great game again, and you know, this is what we're talking about. When you have blameF showing up, that's one thing. But when you have someone else, you have Config delivering some numbers on the CT side here. This is when Astralis hit a different level on Mirage. This is when you see them get the Mirage performances they think they can pull off. And Cloud9 just banging their head off the wall time and time again. Config with another kill. You're just seeing him get into these ridiculous positions with it as well. He's pushing onto Tetris with the AWP just to get those kills, and Shiro's left once again having to try and white-knuckle grip this AWP. But yeah, I would like to see in the next round, or around soon enough, Cloud9 try and focus that B side a little bit. Zip is just not having anything to do right now. They keep challenging in A, keep challenging mid, and they're not cracking here, Astralis. They're not losing any control in either middle or the A side.
Yeah, the B play can definitely be an option. I also just think we need to see a set play from Cloud9. You're against a double AWP setup right now. If you can just get a quick take onto a site, you could make it pretty difficult for those AWPs to have impact on one of those retakes. And the biggest problem, I think, for Cloud9 right now is we aren't seeing really much utility in a lot of these early fights. We're watching them from Astralis' POVs. They feel like pretty easy fights for the Astralis players to take.
That was the slight opening to the round, but Glaive soaks up some damage still.
You look at those shots from the AWP. Just holding angles.
Yeah, just easy. Well, that's it. That is a pretty ridiculous angle to find an AWP in on the Tetris box, but I was going to say I expect another timeout to come through here for Cloud9. They called one, they were 5-0 down, and I think right now you're looking at not a single gun round being picked up. Something's got to give here for Cloud9. Something's got to change, and you mentioned utility. Well, they're not going to have a lot of that in this round. Not going to have a whole lot of anything in this round.
Again, Shiro able to hold on to the AWP, but they don't force around it this time. Nades prioritized over flashes here for those Cloud9 players. See if those HE grenades maybe get stacked together. That was a brief opportunity for Shiro, but he can't make the most of it on that ramp boost. Now the A site is fairly exposed right now. blameF is moving up mid instead, so maybe there is a timing window to try and take this A-bomb site.
There's an opportunity for sure here.
I think they missed a smoke. They
Here
did.
they have. It's landed a sandwich, not the stairway. Oh, Glaive, he's going to come out and just hold a bit of a wider angle. He's still slightly worried about Palace, but it's smoked off for the time being, which will give him enough confidence to focus down towards the Tetris side. He's got teammates here now too. Zipex coming through CT, finally getting involved, finally spotting something out. It's one kill, but stays committed and does get taken out by Shiro. But Cloud9 need to move. This smoke isn't going to last forever, and now that it's faded away, it's revealed multiple Astralis players within the connector. And now they're just going to hold. Now they go forward into the fights, and they are just taking kills, taking names. Shiro left on top of Tetris. There was no real movement there for Cloud9 to try and get up towards the site, and they will just overrun him, overwhelm him, and give Astralis a 9th round. They are losing so many opening fights here at Cloud9. They've only won 2 openings this entire game so far. Astralis just having a field day on that front.
Yeah, they're just so tentative on the Cloud9 side. They get out towards Tetris, they get out towards Sandwich, but you see as Astralis start to rotate into position, they're just sitting in spots where Astralis are going to get favorable fights against them. Maybe we will see a more cutthroat Cloud9 in this round. I feel like that's what we need to see from them.
Yeah, you have to
Config
see it.
boosted up to be early with that AWP.
He's damn close to that. He sees a pixel of Hobbit going down, but unable to take it. But look how confident Config is. Look how fueled up he is. If he stays committed to this angle too long, he does have a blind side. to be pushed in the apartment. So Config realizes the fact that they're using utility, it's unlikely there is a player committed into that corner. So he's just going to hold. He's burning in the fire. I don't know if he's going to get away with that, but Axel actually calls it off. So Config is lucky to be alive there. And actually very lucky not to take a whole lot of damage.
Well, while that's happening, Nafany is going to try and go towards Connector. This smoke is here again. He could have been caught there, but crosses safely this time. Smoke redeployed by blameF.
Yeah, she's got to keep doing that, isn't he? Connector is closed. They did get one player beyond the connector now, so Nafany, as long as he stays on the bench, is avoiding blameF's crosshair for the time being. If blameF commits into mid, it's not a smart decision. It would take a lot of effort to get away with that. And he gets one pick, goes down to Axel. Good trade there from Cloud9.
Bomb finally picked up, 30 seconds remaining. They're going to look to get up into window. Config still holding this.
Shiro's on 10 HP.
Where's the bomb going to go?
Config's going to catch out Hobbit. What does the bomb commit? Does it try and get up through short? Well, if it does, it has to get through Zipex, and it will do exactly that. Now that Zipex has gone down, a big opening into the B site. Shiro cuts off rotation. Config cannot get back to help out in the B offensive, and it is now going to be the save call for Astralis, likely. But they do have a lot of money, so they could throw something at this, and Shiro has been caught by Farlig. Glaves is pretty close to the B site, too.
Farlig is starting to move over. It could be Glaive who would have to go in first, though. The bomb is ticking. And now some noise made. I think Axel's attention drawn towards Glaive, but Glaive wins the fight!
And now they know where interz is, too. Farlig, you have to go for this. A chance to get back into the site, but interz, an important round, an important piece of impact delivered for him. 3 kills in the round and a tap to close it. A second picked up for Cloud9. This has to be the turning point now. They have to send this home towards the end of this half. You can't afford to just have one and done again. You need to string some together.
And as this round opened up, it was still a little sketchy for Cloud9 as they moved towards B. interz basically had to win that fight against Zipex. And honestly, if you run that fight 10 times, I think Zipex might win the majority of them. But this time, interz lands the shot. The bomb doesn't get dropped towards short.
It's a double ops in mid here. Config's going to be playing out bottom connector. Farley up in towards the ladder room. He's scoped in the right position. Shiro is that.
Zipex up into the apartments early. They will bring the orb of Farlig into this position instead. This time a flash is being deployed to make sure that connector angle isn't an issue. Does have to be said that Nafany is still yet to get a kill on the board, and he can be very important in opening up those rounds for Cloud9. A lot of the calls oftentimes can be around him making aggressive moves. Connector smoke down again. Cloud9 not sure how to handle that. Zipex just about hits that spray. And now Nafany might look to move into connector. Sneaking out onto A. Oh, the flash is good.
It's Glaive this time holding connector, not blameF. Glaive is going to do a good enough job. Hobbit comes over the stairway, looking to try and clear out connector, but Glaive intelligently has dropped back in towards jungle, but Config commits on top of Ticket. Shot rings out from Glaive, but an opening has been found for Cloud9 to commit into this A site. The jungle fight starting to go the way of Astralis, though. Hobbit is down. Kills from interz and Shiro are essential, but blameF comes out swinging for another pick. Once again, it is interz who needs to get a 3K in the 1v1. Up against Zipex, goes to the clock and will lose his life. Zipex will best him this time. 10 rounds for Astralis.
These rounds getting a little closer for Cloud9, but they are still being extended into these late round scenarios. This was a great shot from Hobbit, and honestly, for Cloud9, interz is one of the few players who you can say has been trying to do his best to keep this one close. It just ends up being brawls out onto the A site. Still not really seeing those site takes with the utility for Cloud9. It is coming down to trying to trade. And again, blameF. Up to 19 kills now. That's been having a field day.
That was the problem, you know, we mentioned right at the end of that round win for Cloud9. This just can't be a flash in the pan, right? This needs to be the turning point of the half. This needs to be the string of rounds being picked up, but they're unable to get that follow-up, and now they're back down to weaker purchases again. This just keeps looking better and better for Astralis. We talked about Inferno and what went wrong for Cloud9. Well, they started to show up in the second half, but they didn't get enough done in the first half to warrant losing a few rounds here and there. It looks like that could be a similar story here. Interz holds, Glaive's aggression does not work out, so at least there's something here for Cloud9. They've been struggling to get openings, well there's one.
It is still a subpar buy on the Cloud9 side. But luckily the AK was the gun tested early. Again, interz not normally meant to be the top fragger for Cloud9, but he's been doing his best work for the team. And now an M4 recovered into the hands of Nafany. So a little more to work with for Cloud9. It has been pretty one note on the Cloud9 side though. A lot of these rounds have been defaults early, then they wait until pretty late in the round, start to try and take one of the bomb sites. This time though, A is entirely exposed. Zipex is just going to start pushing through B now, so he'll start getting the information.
Oh, he checks Hobbit. He hard clears him, in fact, so Hobbit is down, and Cloud9 committing in towards the A site. A boost to put blameF up to watch the Palace extension. Sees ahead, crossing down below. That's Axel. It's pushed through towards CT now. blameF doing a bit of damage, sprinkling his opponents down low. Zipex on the quick rotation over has been able to take out Axel upon the push through CT. And Cloud9 just down to 2 players, but at least the bomb is down. They have to try and close this one out. Shiro with an important kill removes Zipex and will maintain control of CT. Interz from default, fights out and catches out Config, putting it just down to Farlig and blameF to try and get back in on this retake. And AWP is difficult to maneuver, so it's blameF that has to do the most of the heavy lifting. Luckily, he's used to that. He's taken out Interz. Shiro is now left at CT. Smoke on towards the defuse. Farlig needs to get onto it now. He's found it. Shiro spray not connecting. Goes for the knife. He's missing it. And finally, on the final tick, will take away Farlig's life. The round will go Astralis' way, or rather Cloud9's way. But my goodness, these are not clean, but massive work done in that post plan.
Huge round for Cloud9. Look at what it does to Astralis' economy. Astralis are now broke. And this site take, it just strategically looks so much better.
Yeah.
They had a couple of smokes this time. I still don't love the post plant initially. Axel pushed way too deep into CT with the Tech 9. Tried to take a fight. But the other players on the site, because they get put in a post plant position, can use their individual ability. And now this buy from Astralis is pretty terrible.
It is.
Maybe the Palace aggression will work for them again. That's what they need right now.
Oh, immediate dink onto Nafany. He's really been having a rough time of things, hasn't he?
Oh dear.
He's out of that. That's the opening for Astralis.
You don't want to go 0 and 15. While Config has moved in behind enemy lines.
Oh no, and he knows the Axel's here.
I mean, surely Astralis have to start rotating away from B. Config seeing nothing. They should get players back to A in time.
Oh, he doesn't go to the underpass, and so Axel's actually allowed to stay alive, but he wants to confirm that it is clear towards B. Now you have to start that rotate back. You have to try and stack out A, but it doesn't look like they're going to get there in time. Oh, this is looking good for Cloud9. Farlig needs to hold, and he's not going to get anything. Goes down to Hobbit. Smoke off will remove Zipex from the equation. And Axel allowed to join them via connector. The Config play could have been something there, but just decides to take the wrong path.
See if Astralis decide to stick around. Now that Config has gone down, this retake looks incredibly unlikely. Might be worth Zipex trying to save a gun for the last here, because this was a full investment for Astralis into this round.
Yeah, not bad from Cloud9. If they can recover this and send it to 5, you know, it's not the most ideal half, but
it's doable.
It's definitely doable, especially with a pistol pickup in the second.
I have seen Cloud9 have some incredible comebacks on Mirage on their CT side in the past. definitely a possibility for them. They do tend to favor the CT side on Mirage pretty heavily. At least Apex gets away with the AK. Also a 5.7 in his back pocket, which he could drop to a teammate. It's still going to be a poor position for Astralis to be in. Starting to see a little more out of the individuals. Shiro was just left in a lot of positions where he had to save his gun previously. Now he's getting more chances to have impactful frags. And here is the buy for Astralis. Mostly the 1 AK saved by Zipex, but they'll buy what they can around it for the last round of the half. Is it all eyes on Nafany? See if he can get his first kill.
I think that is the storyline here. Let's see Nafany. Coming out through the underpass. Pick on Shiro straight away to blameF. A second kill for Shiro. Axel will bring down Farley.
He's got an assist
on
the board.
16 HP. That hasn't gone down yet, and this is solid from Cloud9.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if he doesn't get the kill here. He is the first man out. His teammate's able to trade. Nafany gets the assist instead. And Zipex and Glaive will stay towards A. Cloud9 continue to take their time. They know how important this round is. Just want to make sure they don't go running one by one into the waiting arms of this AK that was saved.
Yeah, they're going to take their time and eventually realize the B site is completely free. Axel will start to limit the fact that could be a player inside of the apartments, and the closer and closer you get, the lack of resistance will become evident. And Cloud9 will put the bomb down to close out this half at 5 rounds. So Bex is going to get an opportunity to fight down short. It is one onto Hobbit. Gets a second here. The flash is good. Okay, now we start to worry a little bit because they are going to attempt this retake. And Astralis, if they bring down Axel, it's a 2v2. Axel needs to get this first kill, and he will. Just Glaive left. Axel looks to close the half. Pretty strong. It's 5 rounds at least picked up here for Cloud9, but Astralis will lead the way on double figures. They've got to be feeling good about their chances of heading to the line sets. Join us after the break to see if they can complete it. 10-5 is the scoreline at the first half turning point. We'll see if Cloud9 can continue their recovery. A few rounds picked up towards the end of the first half, and now they start their defense. If they need a comeback, if they want any chance of it to feel comfortable, a pistol pickup will certainly go a long way in helping that. It is going to be a B setup. And interz looking to try and deal with the attack of Astralis coming his way. Bullets sprinkled into the chest of Glaive. There has one player already dropped into the side. It is blameF, and he's come away with a kill. Config has assisted him, and the smokes down short have allowed them into the site to consolidate control.
There was a kid available for Cloud9, and that shot from Hobbit will help out on the retake. Still playing patiently behind this smoke. They try and move in. It's just now fading. Farley gonna go forwards.
He's looking for the pick for Astralis. He's got it. Axol is down and the pressure is starting to mount here for Cloud9 back into the retake attempt. Again, kid on the back here of Hobbit, but the time, it might not even be a factor here. Astralis looking to play for elimination in the pistol. Hobbit gets in, Shiro assists him, and it's just down to Zipex stuck up in the apartments. Kit on the back of Hobbit, sticking the defuse, and they get back in to win the pistol at the start of the second half.
What a shot from Shiro. Zipex tries to just jump across so they can focus on the defuser, but Shiro hits the headshot mid-air. Massive moment there. And this shot from Hobbit was also so important. Get it into a 3v3 for the retake. Allow your players to start to get back onto the site. And there's that shot from Shiro. Zipex was so close to getting around the corner, but it wasn't meant to be. The 3B stack pays off for Cloud9. Won't be an easy follow-up, though, as there is a buy from Astralis. It is full Galils. I guess we'll find out if the Galil's good or not.
Well, it is for Config.
Apparently.
Rips Axel open. And this is scary for Cloud9. You know, you don't want to drop down to the force buy. It's coming right back at you. CT pistols, when you concede the bomb plant, it's almost half a win rather than the full win, right? Gotta go ahead and try and convert it. Smoke up into the window. Some ground being taken here for Astralis as they slink their way up short. They're going to leave blameF into that lurk role in top connector. He can eventually activate in the late round to try and cut rotations if Astralis look to try and penetrate the B site.
And he's just making sure that no one sneaks through window right now. Won't be fighting ladder room aggressively, and that means interz is alone on B. A lot of pressure on his shoulders. The rotate is now starting to arrive, but he's still got to slow this. Oh, Astralis aren't fully committing yet.
Well, they're coming back, and blameF does activate late in the round. It's Hobbit that's gone down. Shiro trying to draw attention back, but he's about to see so many targets come into his crosshair. He does well to at least get one, but as you would expect, he is overrun and overwhelmed, and nafany still yet to get his first kill. Looking to get it onto Glaive. He's going to go back into short. Glaive isn't even going to give him that slight piece of mercy. nafany will be hunted mercilessly and prevented from his first kill again. It is unfortunate to watch the deaths tick on up and the kills not really move on from the big donut he's currently got in there, but that's what they got to stomach right now. Cloud9 couldn't convert the pistol.
Good entry from Config. Wasn't blinded long enough initially. And then I'm really enjoying the mid-round calls from Astralis. I think their calling has got so much better here at this event. Got to give big props to Glaive. They look so much more comfortable in the mid-rounds. It definitely helps that they're getting early kills too.
Oh yeah. That
helps so much in these mid-round scenarios.
And that's the thing, right? That's being the problem with Astralis' T side. What can you really do in the mid-round if you're constantly down a player? You have a lot more tools to play with if you're Glaive, if you're getting these openings. They did get the opening in this round, but they've lost Zipex, so trade is through. Hobbit's kind of pinned in the underpass, though.
Cloud9 invested what they could into this one. If they lose it, they're going to be so far behind. They've got to try and pull it off with the pistols, and Config just sneaks by. Yeah. Axel's not ready. This B site is wide open.
Yeah, there's not much defense left here for Cloud9, unfortunately. Astralis pressuring closer to the B site.
Listen, I don't want to say that nafany might be breaking some records if he keeps this up, but I can't remember the last time I've seen someone be on 0 kills for this long.
Especially in a
top tier event.
Yeah, especially in this kind of matchup where you're one away from the arena, one of the playoffs of Cologne. To not get a single kill in a map, that would be almost unheard of. And I mean, when you look at a caller as well, the role that he has within the team, it's not going to do a whole lot for your confidence and how focused you are in making the calls, right? You're going to be thinking about your own performance a little bit, which means you are wanting to see maybe a little step up. I know that Shiro and Hobbit can often chime in with some calls too, but someone needs to step up and rally the troops here because Cloud9 are in a big hole at the moment, and the Astralis are throwing more and more soil in, burying them alive right now. This is looking very difficult to get out of. 12-6. It feels pretty similar to Inferno, honestly, where Astralis are so far ahead now.
And I can sit back and say, you know, in theory, Nafany, more often the space creator for the team, more often the player who is aggressive and maybe setting up trade kills. You could say all of that and it makes sense on a logical level, but when you're in the moment in this game, it's hard to not just look at the scoreboard and emotionally react to it.
Especially because you realize what's on the line, right? It's just, obviously you're not out of the competition, but it does become a more difficult run into the playoffs. Cloud9 absolutely should have been favorites coming in against Astralis today, who have never really beaten a team as highly ranked as Cloud9 in the history of this roster.
For Cloud9, this was really their opportunity, this event, to prove that that run at Dallas wasn't just against weak competition. Wasn't just because a lot of teams weren't at their best. Right now, it doesn't look like they're going to get to prove that if this continues, at least not here in the upper brackets. Anthony, there he is. Kill on the board.
That's just going to do a whole lot. It takes a lot of pressure off. Not going to be 0 and 17. Not going to be 0 and 18. That's it.
He's going to get back to B in time too. Maybe he can have more impact.
Yeah, maybe he can with the rifle here. Glaive has taken down interz, so Nafany really does need to deliver some impact here. Looks down short. Unfortunately, will get taken out by the rifle. Config makes quick work of him. Shot will land on Axel. He's got over here in the low HP of Config. Gets taken down to the scout. Maybe an opportunity here on Zipex as well. A kill from Hobbit's come through. Glaive is suddenly down. And at the 30-second mark, once again, an equilibrium established on the player count. And now Cloud9 heading into the advantage. Bomb loose. Farlig left on 30 HP. It's hard to see him get out of the apartments here. This is looking good for Cloud9 to pull around out of nowhere. Hops down, Farley. Tries to signal that he hasn't dropped with the shots, covering off the sound. It is down to Hobbit. 8 seconds left. He goes into the open. And he will take down Farlig. A round for Cloud9 taken when you really didn't see it coming. And it's that one little kill from Nafany into the jungle to rotate back. Some important kills there for Cloud9. And let this be the turning point.
Yeah, that could be a big moment. Nafany able to catch blameF, who was a little out by himself against the low buy. That gives this AK into the hands of Hobbit. And you see the impact that AK ends up having. He gets a couple of kills. And now, it is still a 5-round deficit, but it feels so much more doable for Cloud9. They get themselves a buy. They have a chance to try and build some momentum. Early B play looks to be the call from Astralis. Smoke's coming into the site already.
Well, Config charging up through short. Might actually get a chance here on Axile. Had an advantage. You felt Config there, but Axile able to handle it. Luckily, the spacing is fantastic between Config and Glaive, who is buddying up with him and going forward to take that trade back. So 4v4 early on in the round. Nafany and blameF might get into an engagement here.
Astralis dumped a lot of utility over to B, but by getting the 1-for-1 trade, oh, they found the timing window to get a player into this window position, and Nafany caught.
Just the worst timing there, switching nades. Nafany gets caught. blameF brings him down. That's a huge open now in the defense. Zupex is cutting off the support network for Hobbit too, so he's really isolated in the A site. He's had enough of just sitting idle. Starts to move forward. Zipex cutting off his teammates. Getting the kill on Shiro. Hobbit under pressure from so many sides. Well distracted. Hobbit looks away and blameF executes his kill. And another one picked up. 3 for blameF, charging forward to that 30 bomb. 27 kills for blameF, having an absolute field day here on his playground of Mirage. And for Cloud9, it was not the turning point. No successive rounds being picked up here. Got a feel for Nafany having a nightmare of a game here. Hobbit was just put under too much pressure once Zipex got in towards the window. And now 3 rounds away from Astralis heading into the playoffs.
Bort was bought by Hobbit and dropped over to Shiro for the Cloud9 side. They know they can't just concede this round right here. They have to try and go for it. But Astralis seemingly just too good for Cloud9 right now. blameF again making his move. 28 kills. It's not even that late into the map. He's been farming. And interz could be isolated towards B. Axar's arriving with the scout, but a solid utility, which could help cut off some of these angles.
What can you really hope to do with the weapons you've got here? You've got to hit some unbelievable shots with the scout. 1 for Axar. He's taken out quickly after Config and Zipex, bringing a couple of players down. Shiro has arrived with the AWP, but he has got to deliver some massive shots within the site. Spotted out, dinked up, down to half HP. The flank from Hobbit, not capitalizing onto Farlig. And now it is just Shiro stuck in the site. The bomb is leaving the B bomb site. It is going back up through the connector to confirm the round win. But Zipex will get the kill before it's even needed. 14 rounds now for Astralis. No money for Cloud9. 15 should be picked up momentarily here for the Astralis side. And the Danes are looking good.
And listen, we can say that Cloud9 maybe haven't been at their best here today. You're not often going to see Nafany go 1-20, but Astralis' turnaround into this event has been incredible. We have not seen them be competitive against a team like Cloud9 in the past. The previous time they played them in the online tournament, they got dominated on both maps. This is a much better look from Astralis. We've been waiting for the individuals to show up, and it seems to have opened up everything for Astralis. As soon as you don't get into poor early round positions, the calling looks so much better. We're seeing glaive maneuver his players proficiently and constantly catch Cloud9 out.
This will be the biggest win for Astralis in this core's history. You had Farlig in just ahead of Pro League months back. The biggest win they had up until the start of Cologne was a win over NIP. It was the only team within the top 10 that they were able to take down in a best of 3. They got 2 more top 10 wins in this event. Versus Big, versus Furia, both teams with caveats. Big with a stand-in, Furia underperforming. But this one, this is a Cloud9 coming in hot. This is a Cloud9 who have just picked up a trophy out in Dallas. This will be a massive win for Astralis to go to the playoffs of Cologne over a legitimate team. And not even doing it in a close style. Outclassing, outmatching them on the server. This could be the turning point for the confidence of Astralis. And they have had a lot of struggles over the recent months. Criticisms from multiple players, in particular on Zipex, who has really elevated his performance. Recently Config, who is just unbelievable right now with his competition. This is what Astralis can do when someone other than blameF shows up to the server. And still blameF's doing better than everyone.
Yeah, 29 kills for blameF. Thing is, it wasn't uncommon for that to be the case in Astralis' losses in the past.
Yeah, that's very true.
But now the rest of the team are all showing up. Everyone has had their moments here. And for Cloud9, it is now or never. This is their map pick on Mirage. Normally a map they can reliably be solid on, reliably compete on. They've got to get something going now.
Not a lot of utility right from the get-go here for Cloud9. They've struggled in the openings. The setup a little more aggressive in middle from Cloud9. But Astralis tentative. Eventually we'll look to take the mid-control. These fights are essential for Cloud9. They must win the mid-fight. Axel spots the Slight shoulder, the peek around from Farley. The kill goes Cloud9's way first.
Great flash onto Shiro, but he somehow recovers. Axar there alongside him. That's much more like it for Cloud9. Good timing for blameF. Gets one back. Config might get a chance for a fight. Shiro's so low on health. Needs to be very careful he doesn't give away anything further. Finally decides to fall back and play with his team.
Yeah, the problem is here for Config, he has to cross in front of the boxes to get the bomb back, so he's having a rough time. Everybody from Cloud9 has now moved in close to mid. Config spots out Axel, can't bring himself down to take out Shiro in the same maneuver, so just blameF left inside of the A site, 17 seconds left. That mid-fight was essential to go Cloud9's way at the beginning of the round, and it did. blameF will hit the deck, and that's another round for Cloud9. They will survive at least for a round longer. But because of the amount of rounds Astralis have been winning, they've got a lot of money, so the buy can keep coming.
Maybe a little surprised it wasn't blameF making the first move there in the 2v4. Config was the man who was unexpected. They didn't know exactly where he was. So I thought blameF could maybe make a bit of a distraction, because Config was just running into the lion's den there of all the Cloud9 players watching the bomb. But as you said, still money for the buy. Still a big lead for Astralis. That round was much better from Cloud9, just winning those early fights. But Config looking confident right now as he tries to move up mid.
Bit more assertive from Astralis right from the get-go here, and Config rips open Nafany. 1 in 23 might be the scoreline that Nafany finishes on here. Hobbit looks to try and pull the kill back through Palace. Zipex holding for it. Hobbit goes and checks, but Zipex will bring him down. And now Astralis, they're up 2 players and a missed shot from Shiro.
Just tucks back before blameF comes in to try and trade him. Axar's got 1 kill of his own, but Astralis now realize it's time to group up. They've got so much utility. Shiro's the only player on A, and surely he's going to get smoked off here, or at least flashed off this angle.
He gets flashed off the angle. Rendered ineffective. Tosses out the smoke in front of him. Axel doing as much as he can to keep his team in this round. 2 kills to draw it back, but he's down and out. He has to rely on the rest of his squad to get him through this. Shiro hits the deck to Farley, and now it is just interz between Astralis and a playoff appearance here in Cologne. Interz inside of the connector. It has felt like this has been coming for a long time. On Mirage, it has been a one-way street. Astralis have been dominant, Cloud9 have been absent. And now finally spotting interz out. blameF will take to the floor. And just Farley get blameF left. interz comes over the top, and blameF will confirm it. Astralis are going to the playoffs. The red star of Astralis will be lighting up the line, Cess.